join me in welcoming Matthew Sneed. What I probably should have said when we were starting off is obviously there were a few bits and pieces that probably in the 1940s when these were made, we probably wouldn't necessarily do them in the same way. I think particularly in terms of sort of the way that Native Americans are sort of depicted, and perhaps mental health as well. We're slightly more enlightened than those times. Might just point that out.
Yeah, but actually on that point, the person who was most upset with that cartoon was the opera singer.
Oh really?
Walter, he persuaded, it was a very, I can't remember the opera singer's name, but he was a very, very big opera singer at the time and persuaded him to record that for nothing. But then of course in the finished cartoon it was sped up, you know, like 5 times the speed, and then the singer was, you know, really, really angry.
But it's a really great sort of selection in terms of showing you, I think, sort of, you know, the very early moment. We saw in the documentary the very first depiction of Woody, and then we saw then the very first kind of starring cartoon, Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah.
And we kind of went over about a sort of 12-year period up to the early 50s, but actually obviously it continues right on. Can you tell us a little bit about, so when did you first become aware of Woody?
Me personally, oh, when I was tiny, my dad used to buy Woody Woodpecker cartoons on Super 8. So, and the Wombles and the Jungle Book and various other things, but Woody was always my favourite because, you know, he's just naughty. And I think it sort of gave me the DNA for my life.
And were you ever able to do the voice or the laugh?
No, I can't. Please don't ask me.
And one thing that's interesting actually, kind of watching those bits from the documentary, is the sort of urban myths that have kind of been created, perhaps by Walter Lanter's wife or whoever it is, about, you know, the mythology around who started the laugh or who, you know, who. I mean, that's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think with the origin thing, I think Gracie just made it up on the spot. I think they were being interviewed, and Walter went along with it and just thought, well, you know, it's a good story, but it's not technically the truth, and now we know.
And as sort of touched on in the documentary, and you say yourself, one of the things people obviously really love about the character is that he is a kind of a bit of a rogue. He's not. I mean, he's definitely a real kind of maverick, isn't he?
He's a maverick, and he's also very kind of like childlike. There's nothing that will get in his way. He just believes he has the power to sing, to dance, to cook. He can drive, he can fly planes, he can dance, he can do all of those things, and nothing will get in his way. And I think also he just runs rings around authority, and I think that's just something that we wish we could all do from time to time. You give him a parking ticket, you're going to hear all about it.
And I mean, at that time, obviously, you know, everybody knew Walt Disney because it was a few years after Snow White and a number of years after, you know, sort of short animations coming out from Mickey Mouse and so forth. But how important was it for Universal to have their own kind of big sort of star in that respect?
Massively important, because at the time, you know, they tried out with characters like Oswald the Rabbit and so on, but they'd never really nailed it. And then it all came together in 1940. And also that was the same year of Tom and Jerry and Bugs. They all came out at the same time, so they hit the jackpot with it.
And who would, I mean, we think about kind of anything to do with animation and cartoons as being about kind of children and family, but who would have been the target audience for Woody Woodpecker?
That's not one of my questions.
Oh, sorry.
No, I think.
I mean, I'm guessing that, you know, sort of the animation this time was definitely something that actually adults would go and see on their own. They might be part of, you know, sort of shown with other bits and pieces.
Yeah, because they would have back in those days they would only ever been seen in cinemas, so it would have been adults taking their kids on, pretty much like it is today, I reckon.
And in terms of his position in animation history, you just touched on the fact that it was a very important time because there were these other kind of, animated characters kind of coming up, and also in terms of the fact that it was sort of during the Second World War and so forth. So I guess people wanted to be entertained and have something that they could just literally just throw themselves into.
I think that's a big part of it. I think that you know, if you went to the movies in the 40s and you're watching the newsreels and you're seeing the tanks rolling through Europe, I mean, it's pretty depressing. But then right in the middle of that, you have this screaming, maniacal bird, you know. And it's a release, and I think that's exactly the same way that, you know, Bugs was such a huge success in Tom and Jerry. I think the kind of the violence and the anarchy of it was a huge release.
And in terms of Woody over the years, I mean, we saw right at the beginning of his life with that first cartoon from 1941, and then the sort of the period. I mean, not 1940 when it first. It was 1940 the first.
He cameoed in 1940 in his
first film was 1941. But he has continued all the way through kind of history, hasn't he? And there have been moments where he's been parked to one side, but pretty much it's been continuous.
Pretty constant, yeah, for almost 80 years now, and he's probably more popular now than ever. And he's changed and he's evolved. He was a cinema star, then he became a TV star, then a home video star, and now he's a massive YouTube star.
And while I think it's fair to say, although he's known in this country, he's probably not known in the way that he perhaps used to be. And I think that's definitely sort of perhaps started to change. But there are some countries like is it Brazil where he has like always been this massive star.
Huge. And we didn't really know, because we created a YouTube channel for Woody in Brazil and Mexico and the UK and elsewhere. But we saw the numbers for the YouTube channel in Brazil. We actually thought it was incorrect data we were getting from YouTube, because it was so high, and the channel's now I think 1.6 million subscribers in about a year, practically 1 million views a day.
And can you tell us a little bit about, so obviously there was this big feature film which was massive in Brazil as well, which we saw